Welcome, Frank.
Thank you.
So today I'm going to be doing an interview with Frank Garufi Jr. I am Shefali Burns, and I'm recording this from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and Frank is in New Jersey, USA.
That's correct. It's outside of Atlantic City.
So today Frank is going to talk to us about some of his challenges and experiences with dealing with Crohn's and colitis, particularly with his son who is suffering from the disease. So Frank, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, your sons, and the disease, or whatever you want to call it? I call it a disease, but it's a challenge for sure.
It's a disease that unfortunately has no end in sight. My son Dominic was originally diagnosed at age 3, showed symptoms back when he was 2 months old, and
wow.
he has Crohn's colitis disease with perianal disease. The perianal disease was caused by the Crohn's colitis, and basically everything from his stomach through his anal region is completely inflamed most of the time.
And how old is Dominic now?
He's 7 years old.
And how is he dealing with all of this? He's so young. I can't imagine.
Yeah, he's definitely an inspiration to me, especially. It's as a parent, you're always trying to teach your children the right way to be, but more often than not, when it comes to this in particular, he's the one that teaches me how to look all of it in the eye and still be able to deal with it and to not allow it to make you not to be scared of it, to look at it head on and to work through it in the face of not knowing answers and not knowing what tomorrow's going to bring. He is an extremely strong little boy who is having to learn. No 7-year-old, no child even at any age this young should have to deal with a lot of the things that he does on a daily basis. So it is incredible to see what he does and how he deals with it, and it's a real lesson and an inspiration to me.
Now, I was under the impression that Crohn's and colitis usually hit people later on, like in their 20s and so on. I didn't realize that young children, such as Dominic, would be affected by this disease.
It's very rare. There's 2 main age groups that wind up getting diagnosed with some form of Crohn's. Crohn's has there's different types of Crohn's. But usually between the ages of 14 and 24, and then again between 40 and 60 are when most people are diagnosed. Dominic's condition, he was obviously born with it. Like I said, at about 2 months old is when we really started noticing the first set of symptoms. And after about 6 to 7 different doctors, his current one finally was able to diagnose him at age 3 with Crohn's colitis disease.
And I understand you have a younger son as well. How is he dealing with it?
Anthony, Anthony is 5 years old, and it's easy for him. It's easy to overlook that he also has to deal with this in a very profound way. Him and his brother are inseparable. The only 2 times that they aren't with each other is when they go to school or when Dominic, unfortunately, is in the hospital. And he, you can just see and hear that he's concerned for his brother, that he misses his brother, and doesn't truly grasp the magnitude of, why Dominic is gone and, if he's, what kind of pain he's going through or when he'll be back. And it's hard for him as well.
So how often does Dominic have to go to the hospital?
Well, we had about a year. Last year, we had about a year that we were pretty lucky. We spent most of it hospital-free. But in the last 8 months, we've spent an enormous amount of time in the hospital. And unfortunately, it's the nature of the disease. You don't know when a flare-up is going to occur. And when you think that you have a handle on it, you think that you have the right combination of medications, when you think everything is going to go well, within a day, that all changes. And it's a very roller coaster ride, unfortunately. You just don't know.
And this Christmas, I know you were in the hospital with Dominic. How was that? It must have been really difficult being away from home.
It was, for the last 3 months, we've spent a considerable amount of time in the hospital, and my biggest fear is that we were going to spend Christmas in the hospital, and we were doing everything. Of course, you always want to avoid having to spend any amount of time in the hospital, but in particular, we were just hoping that we could get away with not having to be there over this Christmas. We did everything that we possibly could to make it not happen, but unfortunately it's just what occurred. And through the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia is the hospital that we take Dominic to, and I have to give them a load of credit because they don't get enough. It's not just the parents and the family and the friends that are extremely supportive. It's the hospital staff as well, and what it is that they do to make a very bad situation the best they can be. And they really did that this time. It could have been a very, very ugly Christmas for us, but through the face of everything that was hard to deal with, it wasn't only just my family and friends that helped make Christmas nice for all of us, being in a hospital, but it was also the staff and the doctors and the nurses and, everybody in that place just works overtime to make sure that you're happy and that you have the best that you can for what it is that you're going through.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure this is really difficult for you to talk about, but the whole point of this interview is to bring more awareness to this disease and to the fact that even young children are affected by it, right?
They are. Dominic is far from the only child at age 7, and there are children that are on that ward in the hospital that are even younger than him that are diagnosed with it too. So it's far from just myself and Dominic and our family who go through this.
Yeah, and unfortunately that is true. It's hard for me when I hear your story because obviously I have children, and thankfully I'm grateful that they're both healthy and fine. They're perfect, and I cannot imagine the challenges you have to go through as a parent. Because as we've talked over the past little while, we've gotten to know each other really well, and I have to say it's been because of Google Plus. So how has Google Plus helped you, in any way in this past couple of months?
It's amazing. There is a level of interaction that goes on here at Google Plus that you don't get anywhere else, and the people who I've met, have just been the close niche of people that I've met on here have just been overwhelmingly supportive, not just for me, but for my son as well, and people like yourself and Robert Rettle and Ron Jackson and Bruce Garber and Joe Puglisi, and just there's a bunch of other people who I know. I'm not mentioning everybody, but everybody's been extremely supportive, and it helps me to, when you're going through something like that, every little bit helps. Every little bit of support that you get, every little bit that someone listens and just helps you to clear your mind a little bit, it gives me that little added strength that I need in order to be there for my son the way he needs me to be.
And what he really needs from you is to continue being supportive and being strong and helping him deal with his challenges, right? In the most loving way possible. And it's funny because, it's not funny, I suppose, but we hung out while you were at the hospital, and, for us it was more just to lighten the mood for you a little bit. It was just to help you get through that time because it is difficult and stressful. I was at the hospital with my mother, just days before Christmas, and I was only there one day, right? But it was the whole day, and it's like, oh, this is what Frank goes through all the time.
Yeah.
And it's not fun, and so it is nice to have that support from your friends when you are dealing with this kind of stuff.
Most of our hospital stays, unfortunately, are at least a week at a time. And the one thing about when Dominic goes in is that they have to do a bunch of stool studies before he's allowed to even be able to leave his room in the hospital. They have to check to make sure that there isn't any kind of infectious disease that could wind up hurting the other children and staff and people that are in there. So most of the time, the first 4 to 5 days that we're in the hospital, we're confined to our room. So, you're in. Now, the rooms are as nice as possibly can be. They do their best to make it comfortable for you, and they do a very good job of that. But you're still, in a room that you're there for 4 to 5 days. So, after a while, it does become a little hard to, just manage day to day. And the nice thing about this was that, when my son went to sleep at night and, I was still sitting there, I could jump on with you and Robert and Ron and a few other people and just, for a minute forget that I was there in the hospital and just clear my head and de-stress and have some laughs for a few minutes. So that way, the next day when I woke up and, we had to go back to, going through more tests and more imaging and stuff like that, I could be strong for my son. So it was a nice relief to be able to spend that time with you guys.
So how can we, through this interview, help? What can we do beyond just creating awareness? What else can people do to help you? Like, what I was thinking was if people had any ideas such as nutrition, alternative therapies, breathing techniques, something, just to give us more information, that might help, because other people, if they're going through the same thing, they may be finding tricks and techniques that are working for them that we don't know about, right? So, when I post this video on YouTube and Google+, we will ask for people to share, whatever they can in that way. But what else are you looking for?
I am open to absolutely everything. There is not one thing in this world that I won't do to try to help my son and make it better. I am not solely just a one-avenue type of guy. There's nothing I want more. Unfortunately, there is no cure for this, but there's nothing I want more than for my son to be healthy, and whatever means and ways that I can make that happen, I will do. So first of all, any and all suggestions are obviously very welcome and wanted. I ask that, in the coming days and weeks, I will be posting more to my Google Plus profile page along with in my stream, different methods and ways that people can get involved to help with this. So the best thing that I could ask people to do is just try to read up on it, stay informed, and look for different ways that they might be able to help as well, because this doesn't just affect myself or my son and my family. It affects absolutely millions of people every day that, we really want to be able to find a cure for this, to allow children like my son who are 7 to experience a normal everyday life that we all get to enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's all we want. We just want the best chance for our children, right?
Yes.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. Frank, obviously you know that my thoughts and prayers are always with you, and I'm here to support you in any way that I possibly can.
And I really appreciate that.
And if there's anything that I have not thought of, just please let me know. Like, I try and do whatever I can. And then I know most of your friends that are here on Google+, they will also, do whatever they can to help you. That's what we do. That's the kind of community we have built here on Google+. Yeah. It's amazing, that we have such good friendships that we will do anything for each other, So stay strong, stay positive. Know that we are with you and you're not alone. And, give Dominic and Anthony a big hug and kiss.
I will, I shall. Thank you very much.
And we will talk again soon. Thank you so much, Frank.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye.